The year is 2018, and after the conclusion of the Overwatch League's inaugural season, it was now time for people to turn their attention towards the third annual Overwatch World Cup. Like the year prior, the final 8 who would battle it out at BlizzCon would be made up from the top 2 of 4 qualifier events taking place across the globe. The first of these qualifiers would be held in Incheon, South Korea. Competing at this qualifier would be Finland, Taiwan, Russia, Hong Kong, Japan, and lastly and most obviously, the host South Korea. Beyond even the qualifier though, South Korea were firm favourites to take home their third Overwatch World Cup at the end of 2018, having won the previous 2 events without losing a single match. And with Korean teams like the New York Excelsior and London Spitfire largely dominating the inaugural Overwatch League season, for most people this eventuality almost felt like a predetermined outcome. Therefore, looking at the Incheon qualifier, it seemed guaranteed that South Korea would take home first place, with a more interesting battle for the second qualifying spot being likely fought between Finland and Russia. The opening day of proceedings on August 17th, 2018 went largely as expected, with South Korea and Finland picking up 4-0 wins over Taiwan and Hong Kong respectively, whilst Russia completed a 4-0 win over Hong Kong also, before then defeating Japan 3-1 in the penultimate series of the day. To close out this first day of action though, South Korea and Finland would now face off, and even though most expected South Korea to come away with the victory here, Finland were seen as a potential hurdle, especially considering the tank-heavy meta that had developed in contenders since the end of the Overwatch League season. A GOATS meta which seemed to play more into Finland's hands than South Korea's. Consequently, this was a matchup that people certainly were looking forward to watching. What followed, however, was a series that nobody fully envisioned, and came down to one of the closest margins seen in a competitive Overwatch match. To begin though, we should look at the players on each team, starting with Finland, whose roster consisted of the LA Gladiators support pairing of Big Goose and Shaz, the Philadelphia Fusion main tank Fraggy, a Florida Mayhem Mima at off-tank and Zappis, and lastly, a Texas duo at DPS, with Dallas's Taimu and Linksa from Houston. With all the players playing on the Overwatch League stage in 2018, this was a squad that certainly couldn't be ignored, and many saw them as having the potential to push for a top 4 spot if they managed to reach BlizzCon, given how well suited they seemed to be in this increasingly tank-heavy meta. Their South Korean side, however, oozed with quality and big names, largely constructed from the 2018 New York Excelsior lineup, as Ark and Jonak were selected at support, Meko was named as the team's off-tank, and Libero earned a starting spot at DPS. These 4 were also joined by Philly's all-star DPS Carpe, and Fate, the main tank of the LA Valiant. It might surprise some of you to see no London Spitfire players were chosen for the South Korean World Cup squad, despite the fact that they were crowned our first Overwatch League champions. Fury would later join the roster before BlizzCon, but these decisions were likely impacted by the fact that South Korea's head coach was also New York's head coach Bavane, as well as by how unreliable London had been during the regular season compared to the more consistent dominance displayed by the Excelsior. The series began on the control map Lijiang, and immediately it was apparent that each nation favoured a slightly different playstyle, with the Finnish rolling out on a quad tank setup, while South Korea played around a Wrecking Ball dive, with Libero constantly applying poke on Pharah. Night Market proved to be a scrappy affair, but the constant harassment of Fate's ball, as well as the consistent pressure coming from Libero's Pharah, saw South Korea take the upper hand and win the opening round. Initially on Control Center, Finland, with a switch now to the GOATS composition, were able to adjust and catch Fate out at the start of teamfights, which led them to an early point capture. At 99%, they were poised to tie the map rounds at 1-1, but a point flip from South Korea, followed by a Libero barrage and a switch by Carpe onto Doomfist, finally saw the South Koreans gain momentum on Control Center. From here they asserted their dominance for the rest of the round, with Carpe punching them over the line in overtime to give South Korea the map win on Lijiang and a 1-0 lead in the series.
Carpe building up, looking for the Meteor Strike, just going to exit with the Rocket Punch. Shatter comes down, they get the lockdown here on the Fate. The pocket comes in the mercy, trying to keep him alive, but Fraggy has the charge and takes him down. It's 99 to 99. As OT starts ticking away, South Korea still in control, looking to maintain it. Carpe finds the pick on the Big Goose. Now Fate takes down Taimu. Things looking pretty good. Meteor Strike comes in. Zappis, no chance to make it back into that mech. He will be taken out. 3 members remaining for Finland here onto the point, but I don't think they're going to be surviving for much longer. Now it's just going to be Fraggy. Tries to get a pin. It's not going to happen. 99 to 99. That's the finish. Big Goose tries to get the tag in. South Korea will go ahead and get that first victory here on Lijiang Tower.
Moving on to the second map of this match, we learned that the hybrid map would be King's Row. Finland remained on the GOATS composition and snowballed an early point A capture after pressuring and eliminating the Orisa South Korea had initially set up for the opening point defence. From here on, the Koreans returned to their more familiar Wrecking Ball dive setup, but it wasn't until the final section of the map where they really started to stop Finland in their tracks, with Carpe farming headshots after switching onto Widow, and Libero's Tracer joining Fate in pressuring the targets but were discorded by Jonek on Zen. In the end, what had been a healthy time bank for the Finns quickly vanished, and they even fell short of completing the map, leaving the Koreans with a very makeable win condition. Surprisingly, when it came to South Korea's own attack, Finland opted to largely mirror the double sniper setups that were being run, a strategy that on paper seemed to play right into South Korea's hands. In reality though, through some fantastic picks from Taimu and also later Linkser, the time bank quickly started to diminish, leading us to one final teamfight where an early Diva bomb from Zappis threw South Korea into complete chaos.
There's not really an option here for South Korea.
Carpe, can he come up with it? He's looking for Taimu. Takes that shot, breezes straight passes here. Grapple over to the side, self-destruct out from Meko, not gonna find anything, but Zappis comes up with two! Gets rid of the baby Diva, now Libero goes down. An exchange on the Hanzos as Carpe brings one back in for South Korea as they try to keep pushing forward. Carpe follows up. Gets rid of the other sniper. The Big Goose gets the res on the Linkser, putting him back in. Meko has swapped over onto the soldiers. 76 just wants to be able to rejoin.
Now this is looking really rough. They're going to need to get some kills somehow.
Zappa's just going to be spamming away. Finland looking to go ahead and tie things up. Carpe's going to go down. Fate up here into the front, falling low, gets eliminated. Fraggy with the primal rage, gets rid of Jonek. Now Meko is going to fall. It's just Ark and Libero left in the fight, and I don't think they're going to be able to do anything. Taimu gets a hit there onto the Hanzo, and this should be it. The OT ticking away. Finland keeping the hopes alive. Taimu set a 3-1 easy clap. Right now we're tied up 1-1.
At half-time, we had ourselves a series tied at 1-1, with Finland certainly looking competitive across both maps we'd seen. This narrative would drastically change, however, when the teams returned after the break on Anubis for Assault. South Korea started forcefully, breezing through both objectives and completing the map in less than 2.5 minutes, clearly stunning their opponents. Finland's response meanwhile was much slower and less impactful, but after 3 opening picks from Taimu, it seemed like they would capture point A. South Korea managed to stall though through their support duo, and Carpe completely swung the momentum after shutting down Lynx's Dragon Blade engagement. This seemed to kill all of Finland's progress and stability on attack, and they were eventually full held at point A, with Carpe lighting up the kill feed further to give his country a 2-1 lead series advantage.
With the sound cues coming through, Pult's trying to pull them into position. They've got one shot, this Finland does, but they don't have any Dragon Blade.
I'll jump onto the front here. Fraggy already taken down. Meko with the rockets. He's able to finish him off, and now it's going to be Shed. No Transcendence. He doesn't get to use it. Big Goose hovering around and has a Valkyrie, but can he get a res off? It's going to be the question. I don't think he can. Meko gets rid of Taimu. Another shot comes out from Carpe. Cuts down Linkser. Libero under some fire, but seems like he'll be okay. Big Goose is dead. Zappis goes down. That should just be it. Can anyone tag the point? Headshot in as Fraggy does tag in for the OT. Shaz trying to charge in. They're trying to gain him out, and he can't make it in. South Korea full hold against Finland here on Temple of Anubis.
With defeat now staring them in the face, Finland brought out a Sombra Goats composition for their push on Rialto, and whilst it produced some scrappy engagements, it managed to just about get the job done, with the team just squeaking over the line in overtime on the back of a disgusting EMP Grav Bomb combo between Taimu, Linkser and Zappis.
Shatter comes out, Hack comes down, but the barrage is there. Libero gets rid of Fraggy. Sound barrier in, but a bit too late for Finland. And Zappis! Oh my god! The 5-man bomb comes down, knocks Meko out of his suit, and South Korea just completely wiped!
Completely wiped, and it will be the overtime finish here. No one can tag on to this point. That's the end of that.
Oh my goodness! Are you kidding me?
Full of confidence after a brilliant set play, the Finns looked to apply further pressure onto South Korea with an unexpected spawn camp, which at first looked to be very effective. Until the map broke, resetting the lobby. After a lengthy delay, the contest could get underway once again, but unfortunately for Finland, South Korea's attack would be reset to the start. The Finnish lads tried to execute the same strategy again, but this time the Koreans were expecting it, with Fraggy getting caught out early. It almost felt like destiny had determined that South Korea would be the ones to win this series, and now on a matching Goats composition, they firmly advanced the payload towards the end of the map, with a healthy amount of time left on the clock. Led by Fraggy's Reinhardt on the front line, however, supported by great ult usage from Big Goose and Shaz, Finland remained resolute on their defence, and actually managed to hold the payload just before the end of the map, levelling the series once more, now at 2-2, taking us to the all-important Game 5.
Speed boost, Fraggy's the target, but the point is where they need to be, and they are not.
A healed and I onto the Rhine, but that's about it. They're just trying to keep Meko away. They knock him out of that one. The self-destruct going to be tossed in. Block up from the barrier. The rest of South Korea pushing forward, but Libero goes down off the start. Fraggy finds another pin kill. Bait playing forward, 15% left to go. The grab comes down. Sound barriers in from Finland.
Good block
Keeping
by
themselves
Fate.
alive. Fate turns around, yep, with a barrier. Locking out that self-destruct. Shatter comes down from Fraggy. Locking him in. That's Meko out. That's Fate dead. That's Carpe gone. South Korea, they might be getting taken to a game of 5. As Ark and Jonik both fall. Meko will go down. Libero with the swap. Won't be able to do anything. We're all tied up. It's 2-2.
Returning to control and the map Nepal, both nations once again brought back their comfort compositions. Finland playing quad tank and goats, while South Korea deployed the Wrecking Ball dive. Just like Lijiang Tower, the first round on Shrine saw momentum swing back and forth between the two sides, with neither country really able to gain a comfortable advantage. And in the end, it came down to another team fight at 99 to 99% that kept going on for a minute and a half.
Carpe looking for the shots. Sound barrier's out.
Yeah, finds one. The sound barrier's there, however, so Finland gonna be healthy, but now it's 99 to 99. OT coming through, Fraggy dropping down the hammer, gets a charge there on the Fate, but he's not gonna be able to complete it because he gets taken down from the side. Carpe finds that hit. Under pressure, he goes ahead, kites his way back. South Korea still in control over the point. As Fate just sprays away so much HP here on this Hammond and nearly has another minefield ready to go. He's just zipping around, circle after circle, making laps like a nice NASCAR racer. Mixer comes over the kill there on the Libero. Opening things up, the barrage was used.
Minefield available.
Still, it's back and forth. The minefield comes down into the pile driver yet again. Gonna be looking for time when they take him down, but they managed to find the tracer. Getting rid of that pesky pick. Self-destruct out from Zappis, manages to find Ark. The Fraggy's gonna be taken down. Finland fighting tooth and nail. They're trying to claw this one back in. Big Goose comes up with the kill on the carpet, but Fate is still rolling around like an absolute madman. Building up for yet another minefield here, and now Time is gonna be eliminated. Echo taken out of the suit. Zappis finds that one. Fate trying to exit, fights his way over to the side. As they start ticking up, he'll go ahead, rejoin back in. He's so dangerously low, they finally finish off the Hammond.
Carpe's trying to get back in there. He needs to get those shields.
The flip is nearly there. Carpe comes in with a Doom Fist. Gets that uppercut there on the Fraggy, but he gets taken down. The Zaps come in. They eliminate him. Ark under pressure.
He's
Both pistols out from
so
Linkster
long.
trying to take him down, but they get the flip, and Finland managed to take it in the end.
Shrine may have just fell into Finland's favour, but despite some more chaotic and scrappy tussles on the second round village, it was South Korea this time that felt more in control, helped by a brilliant display by Libero and Farah. This meant with the rounds tied 1-1 and the series still evenly poised at 2 apiece, this match would be decided on the final round of Nepal, Sanctum. Clearly neither side wanted to lose this series, but initially the quality on display from South Korea gave them an early advantage, capping the point first and building up 84% before Finland finally gained control of the point themselves. Kills from Shaz, Taimu and Linkser kept the Finns on top of the contest momentarily, but some massive picks from Carpe and Libero onto the Finnish support line saw their defence collapse in tatters as South Korea regained the point and crept quickly up towards 99%. With Libero sticking a pulse bomb onto Big Goose at the start of the final teamfight, it seems certain that South Korea, despite their struggles, would now finally confirm the series. But what followed was a rollercoaster 90 seconds, where the result of this amazing match seemed to flip rapidly between the two countries.
Fraggy falling low, that's going to be the pulse bomb out, and Big Goose goes down. Libero pushing forward, it's into OT. Taimu finds one, gets rid of that enemy tracer. Carpe looking for some shots there on a Zappis. Taimu now going to be eliminated. Meko comes up with a kill. Carpe charges forward. He's looking for somebody. It's going to have to be the Diva, who's alone in onto the point, trying to get that flip. Zappis throws down the self-destruct. Rights around the corner, makes it back into the back, and Fraggy gets rid of Carpe at the same time. Join, however, from the side of Fate, jumps over with Meko, just trying to burn through the tanks here on Finland as Zappis falls out of the back. Linkster gets rid of Jonah, gets his swap over onto the Tracer, nearly has a pulse bomb ready to go, but he's going to need a massive one.
Looks like
if he turns this one around. Linkster's still in onto the point. There's so many people here. Taimu gets rid of Ark, Fraggy rejoins, pulse bomb comes out, Meko throws down the self-destruct, but he's gonna get taken out. He can't make it back in, the flip comes through. Now Fate joins in, they're moving up. Finland, can they pull this off?
He should probably not have jumped in there because now he's respawning and Finland's about to finish this map. Now he's dead. He's gonna have a
Fraggy's getting poked down.
If he waited.
Tags in, but now he's gonna go down. That's a massive stagger. Jonek shredded. We'll get the shielding back in as he tries to stay alive. Libero goes forward, forces out the recall. Arc up into the air, just trying to stay in this, trying to keep it contested.
Primal's out.
Primal range out, jump into the back, Shaz
heal up. Here we go.
Primal range, he's trying to stay alive. Primal's going to expire. Time goes down. Zap is knocked out of the mech. Will get burned down as Ark finds the kill. They're looking for the flip, but I think they might find it. South Korea grinding away to the bitter end, but it seems like they're going to be able to get it. The flip comes through. The OT plummets, and South Korea, in front of their home crowd, will be able to close out the game here. Finland, they get so damn close. They deliver not one, but 2 losses over to the side of the South Korean squad.
History was made tonight by Team Finland. They took those 2 maps, and they were so close to being the first team to ever defeat South Korea in a group stage of the Overwatch World Cup. But it's not going to happen tonight. They are able to buy enough time. Fate was in so much trouble when he died there at 99%, didn't have the primal. He needed his teammates to buy time. He needed to come back onto the point, pop that primal, and force a longer fight. Team Finland, I think, could be very happy with what they achieved tonight.
In the end though, despite a Herculean effort from Team Finland, they came up just short of handing South Korea their first ever loss in a World Cup contest. And in front of their own fans, the South Korean squad was able to overcome their most difficult challenge to date. In the end, both teams will qualify for BlizzCon after finishing in the top 2 spots in this qualifying group, and whilst Finland would bow out early with a 3-0 defeat to China, South Korea would go on to claim their 3rd straight Overwatch World Cup triumph in a much more convincing fashion. This series though, despite not taking place at BlizzCon, would remain a highlight of that year's event. In many ways, it marked the last hurrah on stage at the top level for players like Taimu, Zappis and Fraggy, and Team Finland's display here cannot be understated or undersold. For the first time in 3 years, South Korea actually looked genuinely beatable and came within a whisker of earning that first defeat. It may not have come in 2018, but the tide was certainly turning, and 2019 looked primed to be the year where South Korea's untouched title could finally, and seriously, be under threat.